This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And now you can watch us all over the world. In addition to listening to 650 AM WSM or WSMRadio.com, there we are. Circle Country Television, circlecountry.com. You can watch there or link to your favorite streaming platform. Kelly Sutton, Charlie Matos, Andy Nye, studio director, Jeff Robertson, master of control. And away we go into Thursday morning. The weekend is coming.
Oh, I can feel it.
We've got Opry Country Classics tonight, 7 o'clock, Big Red Curtain. Run that lineup in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Plus, Grace Humphries out of Austin, Texas is coming back to see us. I know. And then later, you've got entertainment. What are you working on?
Well, this is kind of interesting. You know, I always try to find those stories that I'm like, oh, didn't see that coming. This one is really cool. Slash, who we love from Guns N' Roses, I know Carrie Underwood is a big fan, has some pedal steel chops that we did not know about. He was performing recently, and I've got the video, so stay tuned for that. It was pretty impressive. I was like, look at you go. Plus, CMA has announced their lineup for our Fanfare X, inside our Fanfare X. So each day, we're going to get an artist of the day. A lot of people are going to be in there. You can go watch some live podcast tapings. I'll give you a rundown on that. Tickets are on sale right now. And Willie Nelson and Steve Perry together doing a song just in time for Farm Aid.
And when we play that clip in a little while, listen closely, because we're going to leave Kelly's mic open, and it'll be a trio.
Oh.
Because that's one of your go-tos, yeah?
It is. It was in the repertoire for a while.
Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM.
Well, look who just walked through the door. It's been about a year. Charlie was looking back on his records of guests. And Grace, it's good to see you. Grace Humphries is here from Austin, Texas.
Thank you for having me.
And just about ready to graduate at 17, right?
Well, I am going to do senior year. I was thinking about doing my GED so I could really lock in with music, but I ended up wanting to finish my senior year because I put so much work in with school and my grades, and I just don't want to throw it all away.
Oh, good for you. Well, there are a lot of things that happen senior year that you would be sad if you didn't get a chance to like go to prom and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She's like, well, maybe. Not as cool as writing a song and getting to play it. But it is out there.
I actually am homeschooled now,
Okay.
so I did actually go to prom this year.
Good.
A guy from my old school asked me, and it was really great. And so, yeah, I've just been focusing on music, and homeschool has allowed me to really do that. So
The early part of your life was in California, and it's where your brother Liam plays a huge part in, if you would share his story with our audience.
When I was 8 and my brother was 9, he got diagnosed with glioblastoma, brain cancer. And it was at 8, you know, that's kind of like a shock. You don't really know what death is. And he was a trooper, you know. He had a strength that I don't think, well, a lot of kids don't have at that age, you know, like a supernatural strength. And he really leaned on God, and at a young age, you know, he knew God. It was amazing. And he passed away 9 months after he was diagnosed. And, you know, just as an 8-year-old, I didn't really know like what death was, and he was my best friend. So I kind of, over my like 9 years, I've had trouble like finding friends, and like I wanted to replace him almost, but I knew I couldn't, you know.
So when does music come into your life? Very young, as I recall.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that was a big part of helping me heal from the loss of my brother. And
Was he musical?
He was, yeah.
Okay.
He sang like an angel, and we sang together around the house. You know, we were always making noise, and I don't think there was a specific moment where I was like, oh yeah, like I want to be a musician, I want to be a singer, you know. It was always kind of part of who I was. And I started playing piano at 11. I got the app Simply Piano. And then when I was 13, I picked up the guitar, and then I started writing songs because of that. And
What was the first song you wrote?
Oh man, I think it was like it was about my like 6th grade crush, and I was like there was this song. I don't think it was my first song, but it was about my horse Pickles. I used to ride horses, and it was like, you're my red horse, you got me through the worst. And yeah, it went something like that. But
That's awesome. That's
Great memory.
Yeah. And, you know, when you started writing, what was that giving you that you couldn't find anywhere else? Because I think that when you talk to a songwriter at heart, you can see it in their eyes that there's something about the freedom of being able to express yourself through song that is easier than really even expressing your feelings when you're talking to someone.
For sure. I think that like when I write a song, it's not just the words that I'm like a diary almost. Like you can write words in a diary and that helps, you know, I do that. But there's something about writing a song, like, because the melody can tell you something too. And I don't know exactly sometimes how, but you feel it, you know? So.
Do you still write at piano as well? Because a piano song and a guitar song can be an entirely different song.
Yeah. For sure. I think that Wanted You to Know, the one that's coming out Friday, I think I started that on the guitar and then I finished it on the piano, and it changed the whole direction of the song into like more of a ballad. So it's more like melodic when I do piano songs than guitar songs.
And probably cathartic too with
Yeah.
Liam's passing. When you look back at that time in your life, it was a big help to you to be able to write.
For sure, yeah.
I wasn't aware of the Simply Piano app. Like even I could learn on this. Is it pretty easy, or do you? What, Kelly? Let Grace answer the question, please. She was going to be. She was going to be nice to me.
This does not have a money back guarantee, okay?
It's a lot easier to learn at 11 than our age.
Everything is easier at 11. So. No, but is it pretty user friendly?
It is. I really was pleasantly surprised. It's been a while. There was a point where I needed to be in person, like where it kind of dropped off a little bit and I needed that direction. But I think, I just remember it really setting the foundation for me, and I learned a lot from it. So this is not sponsored by
See,
the
maybe
way.
next Christmas, maybe
Not
next
yet.
Christmas party I play some Billy Joel. How's that?
Oh, I like it.
All right.
So do you write lyrics first or melody first? Or does it vary from song to song?
It depends, yeah. Like sometimes I'll start a poem if I can't like come up with a melody, and then other times it'll just be a melody, and then other times they'll come at the same time, and I really like that about songwriting. It's different every time.
So have you done co-writes yet?
I have not, no, but
Because that's a whole different world.
Yeah, I really want to. I know I'm going to learn a lot once I do it, so.
It's interesting to hear people talk about the first time they ever walk into a room to do a co-write, and they describe it as a first date, because you sit down with somebody and you're like, oh, hi, how are you? How are you? Let's talk about all of our trauma, or let's talk about something really deep immediately off the bat. But yeah, that will be very interesting to see how that changes your songwriting technique.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely on the path.
Thank you.
Well, Opry star and Hall of Famer Bill Anderson says sometimes you show up at a co-write and nobody has anything. And it's called a co-stare.
Just look at each other.
I got nothing. How about you? No,
nothing.
Really? You want to go get lunch? Yeah, let's do that. You referenced this earlier. Wanted You to Know is out tomorrow, so we are debuting that this morning on Coffee, Country, and Cody all over the world. WSM Radio, Circle Country Television. Give us the backstory on this song, and we're going to roll it.
Yeah, so a lot of my songs aren't actually about me. I mean, I do have songs that are about me, but a lot of times I'll pull from books that I read, movies, or other people's experiences. And one day I was scrolling on TikTok. I know, guys, it's bad, but I was scrolling on TikTok and a couple women came up. I think I was on like dating TikTok or something. And they were talking about how right before a guy dumped them, he would love bomb them like, oh, I want to marry you. I'm going to marry you someday. And, we're going to live happily ever after. And then boom, the next day, and I just thought that was so sad because it kind of comes out of nowhere. And so that's kind of what this song is about. It's about thinking that you're going to spend, the rest of your life with someone. And then the next day they kind of toss you aside like trash.
Oh, man.
Such a romantic sentiment. Wanted You to Know from our friend Grace Humphries, all over the world now on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Grace Humphries is our guest this morning from the Simply Superior Acuff House studio on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. She's sitting there on the Assembly Food Hall stage, and the stage is wood from the Ryman Auditorium. Circa 50s, roughly, Charlie?
Early 50s, yeah.
Early 50s.
53, 54.
So if you feel a little something over there, now you know why. Hillbilly dust.
Yeah.
Hillbilly dust. So what was the first place you played? You know, Austin forever was known as the live music capital of the world, and Nashville's catching up. But where were some of the places you played in the early days? I always love those backstories.
Man, in the early days, I think I started gigging live when I was 13. And I played in a lot of restaurants. And there was this pizza place I remember playing at. Then I went to LaGrange, the steakhouse in LaGrange. That was a really good experience. So many good people there.
You get free food too?
I did, yes. It was really good.
Is there a place that's still on the bucket list? Where is, like, if you're looking at the dream board, where are a few of the places that you'd love to play?
In Austin, I'd probably say the Moody Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin City Limits people will know the Moody Theater.
Yeah.
That connection, yes.
Absolutely.
And Grand Ole Opry, you know, we do that here, just right across the way. So maybe one of these days.
Put that one on the dream board, for sure. Put that one on the dream board.
And tell us about your church music involvement and worship leader and worship team.
Yeah, so I gave my life to Christ around this time last year. And then when I got baptized, one of the leaders in the church gave me the opportunity to sing. And I've been singing every Sunday, and really grateful that I've been able to have, all these family members and these friends, and really growing a community. And I've been really grateful to have the opportunity to sing. Yeah.
We have a lot of people that are like here and also doing worship music. Brandon Lake he's crossing over really big right now with Jelly Roll, and then Ann Wilson famously put out an album. So there's you can have a foot in both worlds. It's very easy to do. And Stephen Curtis Chapman.
One of the first I remember was Lionel Cartwright.
Oh, I love Lionel. He used to lead worship at my church at BCC for years. He's incredible.
Well, you got a guitar in your lap now.
Yes.
And you look stunning as always. It's great to have you back. We'd love for you to play live. If you want to give us a backstory on this song.
Yeah, of course. So this one was a song that you write in one sitting. So this song is basically about sensing from a guy, in my experience, this was a personal experience, that he has bad intentions towards you, and you know for sure.
Red flag.
Red flag, like it's going off in your brain like that. Yeah. And
jerk.
wanting to leave. And so, this is called I Couldn't. And I hope that this can be an anthem for young girls, that you don't have to say yes, you can leave.
Wise and talented, far beyond her 17 years. Grace Humphries. Great to have you here. Where's the best place to follow you on socials? Where do you get the most traction?
Instagram and TikTok is all Grace Humphries Music. And then YouTube, it's all Grace Humphries Music. So
good. You sounded beautiful this morning.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on almost completing your junior year of high school.
Yay!
How was your day without TikTok when it went away?
Oh,
I always wonder if people panicked or it's like, oh, it'll come back.
Oh, I wasn't that. I was actually praying that it would go away, because I don't, if the only reason why I have social media is for my music, and I didn't actually have it until I wanted to do this. So I don't actually like social media. But
I think Bill loves you even more now.
Yeah.
So the new single is Wanted You to Know. We featured that a little bit earlier from Grace. Grace Humphries is our special guest this morning. And where to from here? You got any gigs locally, or where are you going to be?
So I'm going to continue doing church and family, and then I Couldn't releasing on June 27th. So kind of just locking in and, continue to grow my socials and things like that.
And if you didn't do music, what would you be doing?
I would probably do something in the ministry for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Good to see you.
You too. Thank you guys for
Please
having
come back
me.
sometime, all right?
I will.
Grace Humphries, all over the world on Coffee, Country, and Cody from the Simply Superior Acuff House Studio on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. Kelly Sutton, good morning again.
Well, good morning. We love it when we get a little crossover action, when we have somebody from another genre that's like, hey, you know what? Country's pretty cool. We're having a moment. I mean, Barbara Mandrell, she sang about it years ago. I was country when country wasn't cool. Well, country is cool all over the place, including rock and roll, baby. Slash from Guns N' Roses was performing. This is just, I saw it and I was like, man, this is kind of out of the ordinary. He was with Shooter Jennings. So that's the crossover. That's the common thread. You would know. And they were performing in Hollywood, and Slash has some pedal steel guitar skills we didn't know about. It's no Tommy, but
Well, I was gonna
still
say,
pretty good.
The first person we saw on the Elena performance from the Opry a moment ago was Tommy White on
Right.
steel guitar. We had referenced him a little earlier this morning.
Well, and I've heard this from a number of people, but they said learning how to correctly play a pedal steel is the hardest instrument to learn how to play.
Well, it's kind of like, what's that old thing about tapping your head, rubbing your stomach kind
Right.
of a thing? Yeah.
And they've got the thing with their knees underneath. And I mean, if you've ever seen somebody do it up close, it's fascinating to watch. It's just the whole body is working. But to see him do that, I was like, look at you, Slash. That was pretty impressive. So Slash and Shooter were just teaming up for a showcase, delivering some classic Hank they were doing there. That was Whiskey Bent, Hellbound. They've got that going on. I don't know if they're going to be like releasing anything, but I like that this is happening. It's a good pairing. All right, let's talk a little bit about CMA Fest. Boy, it's coming up fast, just a couple of weeks, and now the lineups have been announced. If you are interested in getting tickets, you know, they've got that big package deal. You could do all of it, and that gets you into everything. Or if you want to come and you're doing like an a la carte kind of putting it together, might we suggest getting some tickets for Fanfare X? That is inside the Music City Center. Why, you ask? Well, number one, there are going to be incredible artists who are in there showcasing, and you get to see them, get up close with them at the CMA close-up stage, but it's also air-conditioned. And let me tell you something, when it's 95 degrees and you're sweaty and you need an air-conditioned place to hide out for a little bit, Fanfare X looks like a really good option. So a few of the lineups have been announced, including Thursday, June 5th. Just going to let you know, Parker McCullum is going to be there doing a live podcast taping with us. We're also going to be doing a podcast taping with Rascal Flatts on one of those days. And I've forgotten all the other ones. I'm terrible at that. But there's a full lineup, so you can go check it out. Artist of the Day honors on Friday. Let's see. Artist of the Day on Thursday is Trisha Yearwood. Then Rascal Flatts will be Artist of the Day as well, and they will both be on stage.
Fanfare X always where Carly Pierce does Carly's Closet.
That's
as well.
And I still haven't had a
I know,
chance
when
to
you're in the
shop
same
that.
building. I bet you she gives you early access.
I need to. Well, I wish she'd just call me and let me come to her real closet. That would be easier.
That's too dangerous, though.
If I got real first pickings.
Well, if you brought wine, maybe.
knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm here.
Just happen to be in the neighborhood.
So fun. But yeah, it's a really fun venue. And if you haven't been and you wonder what's happening inside there, you've got booths with really cool things like Carly's Closet, several different stages. There's live music that's always going on. A lot of meet and greets happen in there as well. So Fanfare X tickets on sale. CMAfest.com is where you can find the full lineup. And the Nissan Stadium stage, I'll be there on Friday night, so I know that lineup. That's Kelsey Ballerini, Parker McCullum, and Cody Johnson, as well as Keith Urban and Shabuzi. So there you go.
Well, it's a big night.
It's a big night. But every one of those nights is just packed. So get your tickets and make sure that you come party with us. All right, Willie Nelson and Steve Perry. I mean, earlier we had Shooter Jennings and Slash. Well, now it's Willie and Steve Perry. Didn't know that they were working together. But former Journey frontman Steve Perry has now teamed with the legendary country crooner to do a power ballad of Faithfully. This is pretty cool.
You know, the deal is that Willie's going, hey, if you want to record with me, we better get this done. I'm running out of time.
I'm running out of
I'm
time.
91. How much longer have I got?
Let's get to it. Let's get it done. And they did. Now, this is being released in conjunction with the 40th anniversary of Farm Aid. And those tickets for Farm Aid go on sale tomorrow. So if you want to go see it, it's going to be in Minneapolis this year. Willie, of course, is on the board of Farm Aid, the biggest proponent of getting that whole thing started. And it was fun because Steve Perry said, working with him is just like nothing else. The phrasing that he has, singing this duet with Willie has been something I've always wanted to do.
See, by phrasing, he means he will not sing on meter.
Nope, he'll sing whatever he wants to.
Some people call it phrasing.
Can I just say, this is really funny. One of the first times that I saw Willie at his place with the 4th of July picnic that they do every year, we were down there, and so we'd waited around all day long, and Willie comes out. Lucas is on stage, Lucas Nelson, and he's singing, and they bring Willie out, and they start the downbeat, and he went, and he probably did 5 songs within, I would say, 15 minutes. It was just boom, 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 boom. And he got done and he waved and he walked off stage. And I said, it was almost like somebody said, hey, I will give you a nickel for every song that you can bust through in 2 minutes or less. He wasn't messing around. And Lucas would try to say something in between songs, and Willie would just look at him and go, let's play another one. And they'd go, it was so fast. And I don't know if that is the norm for him. I've seen him since.
Yeah, for the most part it is.
He's like, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me talk, you want to hear me sing.
You want to hear me sing? That's it. If you were wondering, Faithfully was originally released in 1983. It appeared on Journey's 8th studio album. It was a top 20 hit for the band, peaking at 12 on the Billboard 100. Another one of those that you go, yeah, that was a number 1 hit. No, peaked at 12.
Like I said earlier when we were talking about it, it paid like a number 1.
It sure did.
And it's still paying.
Still paying. And if you are coming to CMA Fest, by the way, Dustin Lynch says, come on over to my pool party. He has thrown a big old pool party happening in Nashville. It is free, but it's first come, first serve. 18 and older. It's going to be taking place the rooftop at Margaritaville Hotel.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Excited to share the music of Ken Pomeroy this morning on Coffee, Country, and Cody, and a new album that comes out tomorrow, Cruel Joke. And welcome to the Acuff House. This is Mr. Acuff's living room, rich in WSM and Grand Ole Opry history. And you have just sat down and made yourself at home. Good.
Thank you for having me. This is really cool. Very rich. I can feel it.
And you're from Oklahoma originally. Mm-hmm. And don't you and Toby Keith share a hometown?
We do. Yes, we do. More Oklahoma. Yeah, we had run into each other a few times, but he was always around in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because he never moved here. He stayed there, right?
Yeah, he. You could run into him pretty much anywhere. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moore's not all that big, right?
No. No, definitely not.
Well, what was happening in Moore, Oklahoma when you were growing up? Give us some of the backstory on how music was in your life.
Tornadoes were happening, honestly.
Well, you're on the Twister soundtrack, so it all came full circle.
It really did, and I'm so thankful for that opportunity just because I feel like was kind of similar to just kind of how things present themselves to me. It's just kind of a thing that happened, and I feel like I have like a lucky horseshoe in my pocket or something because I got to do that, and which obviously brings a lot of ties to my hometown, and kind of, we experienced the May 3rd and then the May 23rd, and they were both like incredibly devastating to Moore and a little bit of surrounding cities, but a lot of community. Mm-hmm. A lot of people came out and showed up for that, and I think community is a pretty integral part of just kind of how I grew up, and especially in the music community, it was really, really strong, and I feel like I was supported really well with just Oklahoma local musicians. And like growing up, being a teen, playing bars, I never felt unsafe, or I knew that I was going to be looked out for, and same for in music and the industry and stuff.
That's good.
You were a Native American. Share your family history.
Yeah, absolutely. I am.
Because Oklahoma, before it was Oklahoma, was Indian territory.
It was,
yeah.
And it still is to some people. But yeah, I'm a Cherokee Nation enrolled member, and I grew up in the culture pretty heavily. My mama taught me pretty much everything, and she's very, very important to me.
Is she the one that called you Little Wolf with yellow hair?
Yes.
Has it translated your name somehow?
Yes, yeah. Usti Waya, and she is so special. She's so sassy too. She's 94 years old.
Musical?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all. But she, loves listening to music, and she was I remember staying at her house when I was a kid, and she was showing me old 45s. I was like, what are these CDs? But they were just like, not CDs, obviously. But she taught me what a 45 was, and she's gonna be 94. I think at the end of this month, she's so special, so special.
Well, your new album, Cruel Joke, which is out tomorrow. Congratulations,
Thank
by the
you.
way. And you're on the way to the Cannery tomorrow night to help celebrate that. But Kelly, if you'll just hold that up for just a
I
moment.
would love to show it off.
And tell the folks that are watching what you told us off the air a minute ago when you looked at the picture the first time.
There's that. And I said, this picture looks like it could have been taken yesterday or in 1883.
Oh, thanks.
Like, it's timeless and beautiful and
Thank
stunning.
you.
And then when you take the vinyl out, this is what Charlie, I know you love this and so do I. When you do colored vinyl.
And she just saw it for the first time.
And
Yes,
it is
today.
beautiful. This is Chorecoat Blue. It is a beautiful cobalt for people who are listening on the radio. Absolutely stunning. And then Charlie has.
I've got switchgrass green,
It's stunning.
which thankfully I've had 3 cups of coffee and I can do the alliteration. Because it could have gone tragically bad.
Did you
With
choose the
switchgrass.
colors or did the label choose the colors?
I chose the colors.
Oh, did you?
I chose most everything with this record. Packaging, who took the photos. We had the wonderful Kelly Sutton, who is a Canadian documentary photographer, and she had never done anything like a album or anything kind of like mainstream at all. She just documents tribes across the country and across kind of the world, really. And I wanted her to do something a little different and see if we could work together and get something good. And I feel good about it.
First person, when I saw that, I thought Buffy St. Marie. For anybody who
amazing.
remembers the folk era and her music, that's immediately who I saw. And
I
said
love
to Ken,
that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of folk, I don't want to bypass the Cannery on Friday night, but I am a Rhode Islander. I don't know how many Rhode Islanders you've met in your life, but Newport is the crown jewel of Rhode Island, and you're getting to do like the granddaddy of all the folk festivals, the Newport Folk Festival this year.
A dream,
Yeah.
an absolute dream. I feel like a lot of things that have been happening last year and this year have just been like kind of a pinch me moment. I don't know if it's all set in yet. Maybe tomorrow it will.
Have you seen A Complete Unknown, the
Oh,
Dylan
yeah.
movie? They recreate that era, and especially Newport is such a key element of that whole movie.
That movie is incredible.
Yeah, it just transported me back to a time before I was born, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, we're going to feature cicadas, which is interesting because every 7 years we have an infestation here in Middle Tennessee. And sometimes we get a little, depending on the variety, they make a little bit of a comeback. But I think it's the 7-year variety that we really deal with, right, Kelly?
I
Yeah.
think so, and
Yeah.
I think that we have 2 that are happening this summer.
Well, I hope so.
Isn't that the latest? Like
to
they
help celebrate
I know
Ken's album.
Yeah.
they did last year, but this year, it's almost like harmonies. They're doing some
Perfect.
harmonies
Yeah,
with 2
that's-
different kinds of cicadas
I
coming
can't
to
wait.
us.
And give us a backstory on your first name.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's really not a backstory. I think I just people in my family and around I've kind of always gone by Ken. I don't know. I think it really started when I was in 1st grade or something. So it's like really early on. And my family always called me Kenan. And then it just kind of got shortened to Ken.
Love it.
Thanks.
Well, you know what? On paper, you are equal as anybody.
Yep.
Nobody knows if
Yeah.
you're a female or a male, and I love that. That's good.
Well,
Nobody
if
knows.
my son was a girl, we were going to name her Charlotte, but we were only going to call her Charlie.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
get that,
Yeah.
you know. So, but she wasn't, and then we debated for 8 months on what to call her. We ended up on Jackson. Not as much fun as Charlie.
And by the way, happy 20th anniversary to you and Renee yesterday.
I know. I think the over/under was about 8. So, man, we've knocked that out of the ballpark.
And tell them what romantic location you had lunch yesterday.
Well, I don't like to brag, but for people who have money, Jason's Deli, unlimited salad bar,
Free ice cream.
Listen, yes,
Free
and
ice
the ice
cream.
cream too.
That's
Free
it.
ice
So-
cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, soft serve. Oh, it's killer.
We're going to feature Cicadas, but you're on tour this summer with I'm With Her and Iron and Wine, and then you got some fall dates with the Turnpike Troubadours. Give us the backstory on Cicadas. That's the first thing we'll feature off the new album that comes out tomorrow.
Backstory of Cicadas, it was the first song that we recorded, and it was, I have my producer Dakota McDaniel here with me today, but we were kind of unsure if we wanted to make a record or not. It was kind of something that was obvious, but not super obvious at the time. We had, all the material to do so, but we were having kind of just so many, I feel like, roadblocks and hurdles to making it happen. And finally we recorded Cicadas in Tulsa. And that was kind of the moment where we were both like, we can do this. We can maybe get a record done. And the very end of this song was a complete accident also, kind of like the call and response thing that happens. That was a total accident. That was like me having latency in my headphones and not singing at the correct time. But then it ended up being something really cool and natural.
And Willie Nelson made a career out of it.
Exactly. So many people have. And yeah, I'm thankful for the mistake, I guess. But yeah.
Well, Cruel Joke, the full album comes out tomorrow, on her way to the Cannery tomorrow night. With us on Coffee, Country, and Cody, Ken Pomeroy.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And so is Ken Pomeroy in the studio this morning. He'll play live for us on the way to the Cannery. Album release day is tomorrow. We heard Cicadas a little bit earlier. Paradilaya. Did I get it? Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to play first. Now, I had to look it up because I thought there's a story there somewhere. A phenomenon where the human brain perceives familiar patterns or images, such as faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. This can occur in various contexts, such as seeing faces in clouds or objects. So where in the world did you get the idea to write a song with that title?
I heard that word for the first time in a Buck Meek song, and his music is super important and was like a pretty very important era of my life where I was listening to his music nonstop. And he has a song called Paradilaya also. And so this song is kind of like an ode to his songwriting and like what it has done for me as a musician.
Would you play it for us?
Absolutely.
All right. Ready? This is Ken Pomeroy. Paradilaya, the only time I've ever said it in my life is during this interview.
Now we know.
Ken Pomeroy is our guest this morning on Coffee, Country, and Cody. What was it like to tour with Lucas Nelson, Caitlin Butts, play the Luck reunion?
Oh, Luck Reunion was something so special. I am so glad we got to do that. Lucas, so incredibly sweet and very welcoming. It's like whenever you're on tour or opening up for someone of that caliber, you never know. And it was such a breath of fresh air. He's such a sweet guy. And
Have you met Willie?
no, not yet. Not yet. It'll happen. But yeah, touring with him was really fun. And then we played Luck Reunion, which was probably the highlight of my year for sure. I think it was really, really cool. And it was way, way different than I thought, just like based on how festivals normally go.
Yeah, and Kelly's been there.
I've been there a couple
Unreal.
times.
Unreal.
It's a magical place.
It
People
really
don't realize
is.
it's a town that he
Yeah.
has curated all of these buildings, and you walk in and you're like, I feel like I'm in the Wild West.
It's like a
Yes.
movie set.
There's
Old
a
Tucson
post
kind of a
office
thing.
and
Yeah.
this church, and then there are lanterns hanging from the trees.
It's
and you're like,
incredible.
It truly looks like a movie set. It's stunning.
I'm so glad we got to do that.
There's a vibe there too.
Oh yeah,
that I've never really felt anywhere else.
I totally agree. We played that one with the whole band, and that was like it was like a experience that we will all take away and remember for the rest of our days. It was really cool.
Well, Dakota McDaniel is your accompanist and producer on this record that comes out tomorrow. Cruel Joke. The pride of Edmond, Oklahoma, which is where the Gaylord family name that we know, that's where we're headquartered and still are. Well, you going to do one more for us?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. Let's do flannel, yeah.
While you're changing capos, I mentioned Newport Folk Festival. You're doing Telluride, too. You're getting all the biggies this year.
Big difference in the breath control probably from Telluride.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Do you have to worry about that when you get there just because of the elevation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They have those cans of air that people use to hike, and I have to have it. It's pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Why is the
they
girl
won't give you
who is
that
singing having a nosebleed?
I know. Is she okay?
It is a scary thought, honestly. I actually never considered the opportunity that may rise of me having a nosebleed while playing Telluride, but thank you so much for bringing that to light.
My gift to you.
Planted that one in the subconscious. That's great.
That's perfect.
Ken Pomeroy, and the song you're going to do is what?
Called Flannel Cowboy.
All right. Beautiful lady, beautiful voice, Cruel Joke. The album is out tomorrow. Cannery tomorrow night here in Nashville. Ken Pomeroy. A pleasure to meet you, Dakota. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
All right,
It was
come
very
back.
cool.
All right.
Absolutely.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody. Ken Pomeroy. All over the world on WSM Radio. Thanks for watching on Circle Country Television.